group. During this performance, photography and any other kind of recording is strictly forbidden. Can I also remind patrons to turn off all mobile phones? Thank you.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo.
He.
You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night.
Stand ho, who's there?
Friends to this ground.
And liegemen to the Dane. Give you good night.
Farewell, little soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my friend.
Bernardo?
Say, what, is Horatio there?
At peace with him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight, twice seen of us. Therefore, I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if this apparition come, he may prove our eyes and see to it.
'Twill not appear.
And let us once again assail your ears, that are so fortified against our story, what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made its course to illume that part of heaven where it now burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one.
Behold, break thee off, here it comes again.
In the same figure, like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak! No, stay! Speak! Speak, I charge thee, speak!
See, stalks away.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art myself.
Thus twice before, and jumped at this dead hour, with Marshal Stork having gone by our watch.
In what thought work? I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinions both some strange rupture to our state.
Come now, sit and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of this land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign marked what would be toward that this sweaty haze doth make the night joint laboured with the day. Who is can inform me?
That can I. At least, the wisp goes so. Our last king whose image even but now appeared before us was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway dared to combat, in which our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras, who did forfeit with all of his life, all those his lands. Now, young Sir Fortinbras of unimproved metal hot and full hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharpened up a list of lawless residents to recover of us those said lands so by his father lost. This, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of our watch, and the chief head post-haste from rummaging the land. Soft! Look, hold where he comes again! I'll cross it, though blast me. Stay, Lucian! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me! Stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I strike at it with my baton?
Do if it will not stand.
'Tis gone. You do it wrong being so majestical. You offer it the show of violence, but it is as yet invulnerable, and our vain blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And it started like a guilty finger upon a fearful summons.
It faded with the crowing of the cock ratio. Some say that ever season comes wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated. The bird of dawn singeth all night long, and then they say, no his spirit dares stare abroad. The nights are wholesome, no planet strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is the time.
So have I heard, and do in part believe it. Ah, look, the morning mask mantle clad walks over the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break me our watch up, and by my advice, let's impart what we've seen tonight with young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, done to us, will speak to him.
Yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be grieved, and that it does befit it to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted with one brow of woe. Yet so far discretion fought with nature, and we in wise sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial judges to this warlike state, have we, as with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and dropping eye, with mirth in funeral and dirge in marriage in equal scale laid alike, and dole taken to life. Nor have we here embarked your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follows, that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our birth, or thinking that by our late dear brother's death our state be disjointed out of frame. Nor hath he failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, in all bonds of war to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Thus much the business is, we have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, to suppress his further march and threatening enterprise of our state. And we here dispatch you, good Fortman, for bearer of this greeting to old Norway.
In that and all things will we show our duty.
We doubted nothing, heartily. Farewell. Now, Laertes, what's news with you? You spoke with some suit. What is Laertes? You may not speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice.
My dread lord, your leave and favour to return to France, from whence I willingly came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now, that duty done, I must confess my thoughts and wishes to bend once again toward France, and to your gracious leave and pardon.
Having your father's leave, what says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my sole leave. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Then take my fair hours and timely thine, and by thy best graces, spend them at thy will. And now, my cousin Hamlet and my son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord, I am too much for the sun.
Oh, good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off. Let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father inward dust. Thou knowest his common, all that lives must die, passing through nature into eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, then why seems it so particular to thee?
Seems. Madam, nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These all seem. for they are actions that a man might play. I have that within which passeth show. These but the trappings and the suits of woe.
It is sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your father. But you should know, your father lost a father. A father lost his. And survived, bound in filial obligation for some terms the obsequious sorrow. But to persever in obstinate condolements is a course of unmanly grief we crave. Throw to earth this unprevailing woe and think on us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son do I impart toward you. For I intend to go back to school in Wittenberg. It is most retrograde to our desire. We beseech you, beg you to remain here in the cheery comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, our cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us, go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Right in a loving and fair reply. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet said, smiling to my heart, in graces whereof no job and health our Denmark drinks today, madam, come. But let the great cannons of the clouds shall tell, we speaking earthly thunder, come, away.
This too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Oh, the everlasting could not set his cannon, itself slaughter. God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Find, fly. 'Tis an unweeded garden grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. It should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king was to this, Hyperion to a Satyr. So loving to my mother that he might not perceive the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month. Let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month. Or ever shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, oh God, even she, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother. Though not like my father, but I to Hercules within a month. And yet the salt of most unrighteous tears are like the flushing in her galled eyes. She married, oh most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, no, it cannot come to good. But break my heart, I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well. Horatio! What do I forget myself?
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
So, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. What made you here from Wittenberg? Horatio? Marcellus?
My good lord.
I'm very glad to see you. Good evening, sir. But what in fate make you here from Wittenberg? We'll teach you to drink, eat. There you are.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
Pray thee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. Funeral late meets fit coldly furnished for marriage tables. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a good man.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. How looked upon his life then.
My lord, I think I saw him yesterday night.
So, who?
My lord, the king, your father.
the king, my father.
Season your admiration for a while, with intent here, until I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together have these men, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead vast and middle of the night been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, cap a pay, appears before them, and with a solemn march goes slow and stately by them. This, to me, in dreadful secrecy impart they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch. And as they had foretold, the apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
Where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watched.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did. But answer made it none.
It is very strange.
My lord, I swear 'tis true, and we thought to grit down in our duty to let you know it.
Indeed, sirs, indeed, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight?
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my
On
lord.
top toe?
My lord, from head to foot.
Well, then saw you not his face?
Oh, yes, my lord. He wore his beaver up.
What? Looked he frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you.
Most constantly.
How would I have been there?
It would have much amazed you.
Very like. Very like. Stayed it long?
While one with a moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer.
Longer.
Not when I saw it. His beard was grizzled, no?
As it was in his life, sable silvered.
I will watch tonight. Perchance will walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should bait. Gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, gentlemen, if you have hitherto concealed the sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall happen tonight, with no understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your looks. So, on the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our
Our
duty
duty to your honour.
My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. But the night will come. Till then, sit still my soul. Foul deeds will rise. Though all the earth overwhelmed to men's eyes.
Necessary to embark. Farewell, and it's the witness benefit and convoy's assistant. Do not sleep. But let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling in his favour, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, as a violet in the youth of human nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and succulence of a minute, no more.
No more so.
You no more. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil look tell doth merge the virtue of his will. But you must fear it. His greatness wave, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not as invalued persons do carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and well-being of this whole state, and therefore his choice must be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of the body whereof he is the head. Then, if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than neighbours of Denmark goes with all. Then when what loss your honour could sustain, if with too creed and air you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chief treasure open to his last opportunity. I fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affections out of the shot and danger of desire. To be buried again, their safety lies in fear. Youth to itself repels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own need.
Oh, fear me not. Stay too long. Here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace, occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here, ladies, and bored for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your stay, and you must stay before. Here. My blessing with you. And these few precepts in thy memory seed thou character. Be familiar? Yet by no means over. Those friends thou dost have, rattles thy soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new patch in the flesh commonwealth. If every man thy ear, but few thy voice to etc., but reserve thy judgment. Beware entrance to a quarrel, but being in, beware the opposed, beware of me. And costly as thy habit, as thy purse can afford, is expressed not in fancy, rich, not gaudy, as if wealth oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor lender be, as loan oft loses itself, and friends and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it shall follow as nicely gain that thou canst not one be false to any man. Farewell, I see some passing.
Somebody do take my leave, my lord.
Time waits, go, your servants tend.
Hello, his sister. Remember well what he said to you.
It is in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Go on.
What is the feeling that said to you?
So please you something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Very thought. 'Tis told me he has very often been given private time to you, and you yourself of your audience have been most free and bounteous. If it be so as so, 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution I must tell you. You do not know yourself so clearly as it behoves my daughter or your honour. What is between you? Give me the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection towards me.
Affection, go to, being girl unsifted in such perilous circumstances. Tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
No, then I shall teach you. Think yourself a baby that you have taken these tenders as true pay, which are not sterling. Tempt yourself more daily, or, not to cut the wind before phrase, you will tenderly fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love, in honourable fashion.
Fashion, go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, by almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch good cocks. I do know, when blood boils, how tongue bends the vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, must not be taken as fire. From this time we somewhat stanza of your legal presence.
I shall obey, my lord.
Truly, it is very cold.
Indeed. It is an eager and nipping there.
What hour now?
Methinks it lacks 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed. I have not heard it.
And it comes to the time where the spirit held is wont to walk.
What means this, my lord? The king doth wait tonight, and takes his rouse, keeps for sale and the swaggering on spring reels, and he drinks his draughts of range down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry, yes. But to my mind, though I am native here and to the matter born, it is a custom better honoured in the breach than the observance. Look, my lord, here it comes! Angels and ministers of grace defend us! Be thou spirit of health or goblin damned, bring with thee airs from heaven or blast from hell, be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane, oh answer me! Let me not burst with leap roots, but tell by thy canonized bones, hearsed in death of virtue thy credence. What may this mean that thou, dead corpse, again in complete shield visitest us the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we, fools of nature, so hurriedly to shape our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. Say, wherefore? Why is this? What should we do?
My lord, it beckons you to go with it, as if it has some matter with you alone.
It beckons you to a more removed place, but do not go with it, my lord.
No, by no means.
Oh, it will not speak, then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why, what should be the fear? I do not set my life at hin's feet and for my soul. What can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? You wish me forth again. Go on, I'll follow thee.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, or toward the edge of the cliff that beetles or its base into the sea, where it will then assume some horrible form and attack your serenity of reason, drawing you into madness?
Still ample. Go on, I'll follow thee.
No, my lord.
You
Shall not go.
shall not go. My fate cries out to make each petty artery in this body as hardy as an immune lion's nerve. Still am tongue called. Unhand me, gentlemen, I'll make a hell. Ghost of him that lets me. By heaven. I say away, go on. I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperately with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
What matter will this come to?
Something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow.
Where would thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
Mark me!
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I, to sulphurs and tormenting flames, must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear?
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fasting fires, until the foul crimes done in my days of nature have been burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul. Freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres. But this eternal blaze on must not be, to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh God!
Revenge his most foul and unnatural murder.
Murder!
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee out. 'Tis given out, while sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. No, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, won to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was that of dignity that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But lust, though to a raging angel linked, will sate itself on a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour, thy uncle poured with leprous stillness. Under the porches of my ears did pour
with cursed heaven on. Hamlet. Ajay. Remember me!
Oh, you host of heaven! Oh, earth! And what else? Shall couple hell? Oh, fine. Hold my heart, and you my sinews. Wrong not into the ball, bear me simply up. Remember thee. Aye, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all sores of books, all precious past that youth and observation copy there, and thy commandment alone shall live in the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain. Villain smiling. Damned villain, my table's meat it is, I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is due that you remember me. I have sworn it. My lord! My lord!
Lord Hamlet!
Heavens jogging! So be it. Crowned lord!
How is thy noble lord?
What news, my lord? Oh, wonderful!
Good, my lord. Tell it.
No, you'll reveal it. Not I, my lord.
Nor I.
How say you then? Good-hearted man, let's think it, but you'll each be secret.
Aye, my lord.
There's no villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an arrant knave.
My lord, there needs no spirit come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right you are, sir, you are in the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake our hands and part. You, as your business and desire, shall point to you, for every man has business and desire, such as it is. And look you, for mine own poor part, I'll go pray.
My lord, these are wildly welcome winds.
I'm sorry they offend you. Heartily, yes, faith, heartily.
There's no offence in it, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offence too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost. That, let me tell you. Gentlemen, for your desire to know what is between us, overmaster it as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What's that, my lord?
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, I will not.
Nay, swear it.
My lord.
Sworn already.
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
My lord, we have sworn already.
Upon my sword, indeed. Come on then. You hear this fellow in the cellarage? Consent to swear.
Where's the oath?
Never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword.
Swear!
Yet be quiet, they will shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen. Lay your hands again before my sword. Never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword.
Swear!
Well said, old mole. Hast worked the earth so fast. A worthy climber. Once more, remove, good friends.
Again, it's wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in our philosophy. But come, here, as before, never. So help your mercy, how strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such time seeing me, never shall with arms encumbered thus, or with this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrases, well, we know, or we could, and if we would, or such ambiguous givings out, to note that you know aught of me. This not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need help you. Swear! Rest, determined spirit! Swear!
My lord, I have sword, I will not speak.
I swear.
I swear.
So, gentlemen, let's go in together. And still, your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite. That ever I was born to set it right.
Give him this way and these others, Ronaldo.
I will, my lord.
You will be marvellous wisely, good Ronaldo, before you visit to make inquiry of his behaviour.
My lord, I do intend this.
Well said. Inquire me first what company, at what expense, and by fighting by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, take you as 'twere some distant knowledge. As such, I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you have any knowledge?
I do, my lord.
Impart him. But you may say, not well. But if he be, don't know, very wild, addicted, so and so, then you may lay an accordance on him that you so please. Now you know so about the wings on him. Take heed of that.
As gaming, my lord.
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, dragging, you may go this far.
My lord, that would dishonour him.
Favour, you make seasons in the charge.
But, my good lord,
Wherefore you should do this?
my lord, I would know that.
Now, here's my view. I do think it is a fetch of wit you laying these slight sins on my son. Your party, in confidence, him you would sound, having ever seen such phenomenal crimes, that you speak of guilty. Rest assured, he will close with you in the consequence, good sir or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or edition of man or country. Do you have it?
Very good, my lord.
So, you see your bait of falsehoods. It takes this half of the street, and then you read by in that stretch and find directions out.
Yes, my lord.
Farewell.
God be with you, sir.
That is indiscretions in yourself.
I will, my
And
lord.
let him play his music.
I shall, my lord. Oh, my lord! My lord, I have been so frightened!
What do you feel now?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down-gyved to the ankle. Here was his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
But I love.
My lord, I do not know, but truly I would fear it.
What did he say?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head waving up and down, he loosed a sigh so piteous and profound that it indeed seemed to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That said, he lets me go, and with his head o'er his shoulders, and he seemed to find his way without his eyes. Down to doors he went without their help, and to the last bedded their light on me.
Come, this is the very ecstasy of love. I am sorry, have you given any hard words of late?
No, my lord, but as you did command, I did repel his fetters and denied his access to me.
I am sorry, this hath made me mad. You would better heed and judgment I do not quote him. I thought he did things affected. Come, to the king. They must hear of this.
Did long to see the need we had to use did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation? What it should be. More than his father's death that thus have put in much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, So by your company is to draw him onto pledges, and to gather from him so much from occasion that you may glean, but the horse to us unknown afflicted thus that open lies within our remedy.
Good gentlemen, we have much talked of you. I'm sure I am too member and not living to whom he monitors. If it please you, as to show us so much gentry and goodwill, as to expend your time with us a while, for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation will receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might by your sovereign power of us, by dread pleasures more to command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and give ourselves up freely at your feet. Be commanded.
Thanks. Those who pass on gentlemen today.
Thanks, skilled and stern, gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son, boasting with you and find what Hamlet is.
Hope our presence and our practices are pleasant and helpful to you.
Aye, amen.
My lord, the ambassadors from Norway are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I do assure my lord that I hold my soul to my God, my thinking that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Speak of that. What do I want to hear?
First, give a message to the ambassadors. My news will be their fruit of the great feast.
So be graced to them and bring them in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, I found heaven source of all Hamlet's confusion.
I doubted his love of the maid, our over-hasty marriage and his father's death.
Well, we shall seek him. Say, Baltimore, one from our brother Norway.
Most fair return of greetings and desires, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be against the poor one. He truly found it was against your highness. 40 brass receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine, makes vow before his uncle, nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty.
Likes as well. Now the feast together, most welcome home.
This business is well ended. To expatiate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, and time is time, where brevity be the soul of wit and tediousness the limbs of outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad I call it, for to try and define true madness is nothing but mad itself, but farewell.
More matter with less heart.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure. But farewell, for I will use no art. So what remains is to find the cause of this effect, or should I say the cause of this defect, for this effect defective does come by cause. And that is, I have a daughter, while she is mine, who in her duty has given me this. Please, gather and smiles. 2. The celestial and my soul idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase. Vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But she's hot days. In her excellent white bosom.
Hear this from Hamlet to her.
Good man, please stay awhile. I will be faithful. Doubt the stars are fire, doubt the sun doth move, doubt the truth be a liar, but never doubt my love. This obedience my daughter hath give me, and more above.
But how much you seek his love?
My lord, what would you think of me?
As a living man, faithful and honourable.
I would fain prove so, but what might you think if I had give this hot love on the wing as I perceive it, and might I say before my daughter told me, what might you have thought if I had give this my heart and beauty weeping done? No, I went straight away, and the fair maiden I did speak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star, and I precepts gave her that she should lock herself away from his resort, admit no messages and receive no tokens. This done, she did take the fruit of my advice. He repulsed a short tale to make, fell into sadness, and then into fast, thence into watch, thence into weakness, thence into light, and then into madness, where he now raves, and we all mourn for.
You think of this?
It may be very likely.
Your Majesties, has there ever been a time when I have positively said it is so, and it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Well, take this from this if it does prove otherwise.
And will you try further?
My lord, you know, he often walks 4 hours together. We're here in the lobby. At this time, I could lose my daughter to him. You and I behind the hours, we could bestow ourselves and we can hear the conference. If it be that not true love where he has fought for, then let me be no more further assistance to the state and keep her farmland carters.
We will try it.
Oh, but look where sadly the poor wretch comes.
Ah, wait, Lashes, please, go away. I will board him presently. Ah, good Lord Hamlet.
I'll say you so.
Do you know me?
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
And would you are so honest a man?
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir, be honest. As this world goes, is one man picked out of 10,000.
That is true.
What if the sun reunites in a dead dog being a god kissing carrion? Have you a daughter?
Have my lord?
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, will do it.
Still harping on my daughter.
His father. Father,
True. Was I did suffer such extremities of love very close to this when I was young? I will speak to him again. My lord, what do you read?
words. Words? Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
The matter in which you read.
Slanders, sir. The satirical rogue says here that old men have grey beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes pershing thick and amber plum true gum, and they have a most plentiful black of wit, together with most weak hands. All which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I wanted not honestly have it thus set down. You yourself, sir, should be as old as I am. If I could crack, you could go backward.
Both speak madness, there is method in it. I will speak to him again. Will you walk out into the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
That will be out into the air. How pregnant sometimes with eyes are. I will take my leave and contrive a meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I voluntarily leave you. Farewell.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I would more willingly part with all, except my life. Except my life. Except my life!
Farewell, lord.
These tedious old fools.
Now, you must speak to Lord Hamlet. There he is.
My honoured lord.
My excellent good friends! Oh, Guildenstern, how dost thou? Rosencrantz, good fellows, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth, my lord.
Happy in that we're not over happy, and fortune's cat would not very good.
And all the soles of her shoe.
And neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favours.
Fate may incline it to me.
In the secret parts of fortune lie, most true, she is a strumpet. What's the news?
I know, my lord, but the world's grown honest.
Ah, then it's doomsday near. Your news is not true. Let me question you more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to the prison pillar?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
It is the world one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst.
Not think my lord is that so.
Well, why then? 'Tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison.
Oh, it's your ambition that makes it so. It's too narrow for your mind.
Oh, God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. But it's not that I have bad dreams. Shall we to the court to find my fay? I cannot reason.
Well, it's not equal.
No such matter, I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. But come, in the decent way of friendship, what make you here at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come. Nay, speak.
What shall we say, lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose you were sent for. There is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to colour. I know the good king and queen have sent for you. you. If you love me, hold not off.
You sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovering your secrecy to the king and queen, moult no feather. I have, of late, wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed goes so heavily with my disposition, this goodly frame that earth seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent can be that air, look you, this brave, o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire, why it seems no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapours. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In apprehension, how like an angel, in action, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, no woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such something, my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We quoted them on the way, and hither they come in to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of him. It's not very strange. My uncle is king of Denmark. Those that would make mouths at him while my father lived to give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture in the little slug, and there was something in this more than natural that philosophy would find out.
They're all the players.
Come, gentlemen, your hands then. You are welcome, fellows. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
What, my lord?
I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know hawk from a hands up.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Archie Gilstone, and you too, dear hero. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouds.
It's happily a second time compliment, for they say an old man is twice a child.
I will proceed to tell us of the players. Mark, you say right, sir. Monday morning, 'twas so indeed.
I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you. When Russius was an actor in Rome.
The actors come hither, my lord.
Buzz.
On mine honour,
Taking a chapter on his ass.
my lord. The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, comical, historical, pastoral, tragical, historical, comical, historical, pastoral. Seeing the rival, Poland, no scene can be too heavy or places too light.
Oh, Jephthah, Judge of Israel, what a treasure hast thou!
What treasure have he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter, no more, which you are passing on.
On my daughter.
Am I not to the right, old Jephthah?
If you call me Jeff, my lord, I have a daughter that I do love passing well.
Now, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why? You are welcome, masters, welcome all! I'm glad to see thee well. Oh, my old friend! What? My young lady and mistress, my lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw thee last. Pray God your voice like a piece of current gold grow not cracked within the ring. But come straight, give us a taste of your quality, come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard you speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, not above once. The play I remember pleased not the million, 'twas caveat to the general. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido. Thereabout of it especially where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. See. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast, that's not so, it begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the knight resemble when he lay couched in the ominous horse, hath now his dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal. Head to foot now he is total glues, horridly ticked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and impasted with the parching streets that lend a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus, oversized with coagulant gore, with eyes like carbuncles the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam seeks. So proceeded.
None finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal match Pyrrhus at Priam drives, but rage strikes wide. The width and wind of this fell sword, the unnerved fell falls. Senseless Ilium, seeming to feel the blow with flaming top, stoops to his base, and with hideous grasp takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. Lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. And so, like a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. As we often see against some storm, silence in the heavens, the bold wind speechless, the orb below as hush as death. Anon, a terrible thunder uprend the region, and so, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets in new work, and level at the Cyclops, hammers fall on Mars' arm, fought for proof return, and now with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam.
This is too long.
That shall be to the barbers with your beard. Prithee, say on, he's for a jig or a tale bordering where he sleeps. Say on, come to Hecuba.
Who had seen the Moblid Queen?
Moblid Queen.
Ah, Moblid Queen. Moblid Queen is God.
Run barefoot, up and down, threatening the flames of Bison room, a clout upon the head where the late diadem stood. But for a robe about her lank and poetine loins, a blanket, and the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen with tongue in venom stick to grant great fortune, state would treason have pronounced, and she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing his sword through her husband's limb. The instant that's the clamour that she made, unless things make move more than most at all, would make milk and burning eyes of heaven, and passion.
Look, he has not turned his Goliath's tainted sides. I pray you no more.
'Tis well, we'll have thee speak out the rest soon. I pray you, my lord, will you see the players well restored? Do you hear? They are to be well used for the abstract and brief chronicles of the time.
I will use them according to their desert.
God's body thinks man much better. Use every man after his desert, and you should escape with him. Use them after your own honour and dignity. The less they deserve, the more nature is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, says.
Follow him, friends, we'll hear a play tomorrow. My good friend, canst thou play the murder of Gonzago?
Of course, my lord.
We'll have it tomorrow night. Could for a need study a speech of some dozen or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in, could you not?
My lord.
Very well. Now, follow that lord and look, you might not. Friends, I'll leave you till night. You are welcome at Elsinore.
Goodbye, lord.
Aye, so, won't be waiting.
Now I'm alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit, from her working all his visage plain? Tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? Why, he would drown the stage in tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and erase indeed the very faculties of the eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy metal rascal, peep like jolly dreams unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing! No, not for a king, upon whose whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my painted cross, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this, huh? Swoons, I should take it. For it cannot be that I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. For ere this I should have battered all the region kites with this slave's offal. Bloody, bawdy villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain, oh, vengeance! Why? What an ass am I, this is most brave, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a cursing like a very drab of scullion. Fie on it, oh, about my brains. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at play have been struck so to the soul by the very cunning of the sea that they have proclaimed their malefictions. For murder, though have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before my uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tempt him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath the power to assume a pleasing shape in. And perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Dangerous and turned up lunacy.
He does confess he finds himself distracted by which cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him able to be sounded, but with crafty madness keeps aloof, and bring on some confession of his true states.
Did he receive you well? Or most like a gentleman?
With all my heart, and it does much concern me to hear him so inclined. The gentleman, giving me further edge, drive his purposes onto such delights.
Did you essay him? Join him personally? Madam, it so fell out that certain players wheeled were on some way. Of which we told him, and let it seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it, they are about the court.
It is true, he beseeches me to entreat your majesties to see and hear the matter.
Sweet Gertrude, used to, for we have put simple Hamlet here so that he may hear the front of Ophelia. So, her father and myself, lawful spies, will so restore ourselves that seeing unseen, we may from there encounter frankly judge and gather from him, as he is behaved, if be the affliction of his love, or know that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do hope that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope that your good virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your lovers.
Madam, I wish it may.
My lord, we shall restore ourselves.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, to die, to sleep no more, by sleep to say the end of the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must needs pause. There's the calamity that makes, there's the respect that makes calamity of this so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, pangs of despised love, the laws obey, the insolence of office, and the patient merit the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fathers bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life with the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the meter hue of resolution is sickly over the pale cast of thought. Enterprises of great pith and moment with disregard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Such man, fellow feeling. Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
My lord, how does your lordship for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I never gave you aught.
My honoured lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you make me believe it so.
Oh, you should not believe me, I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Give thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breed of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, yet I can accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. What should such fellows as I do crawling between the earth and heaven? We are arrant knaves, all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house.
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Or, if thou means marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. Get thee to another and go and quickly to farewell.
Oh, heavenly powers, restore him.
God has given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, and you angle, and you lisp, and nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Oh, go to! I have no more aunts. It has made me mad. I say we shall have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go.
What noble mind is here overthrown? The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy arose of the fair state. The glass of fashion and the mould of form. The observed of all observers quite tell. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Oh, what wish me to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Love, factions do not that way tend. Lord, you spake, that like former liquor was not like madness. There's something in sorrow which melancholy sits on brooding, and I do doubt the hatch in this close will be some danger. Getting quick determination, I have thus set it down. Shall it speak to England? Happily the seas and countries different with variable objects will expel the something separate matter from his heart. His brain still beating, put him thus from fashion off himself. I think you want.
It shall be well, my lord, but I still do believe that the original commencement of this madness falls from gifted love. If you shall please, my lord, let her listen to mother in her closet. If she does not find the origin of his grief, then to England's centre, or go with him where he sees her.
Shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you. I defend thee to the soul, to hear a voluptuous, pericated fellow tear a passion that tatters the very rags, to split ears and groundlings. I pray you, avoid it.
I warrant your honour, my lord.
Be not too tame either, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action. This special overstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at first and now, was and is to hold, as it were, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own features, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of time his form and pressure. Now this, overdone or come tardy off, though it may be unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the centre of which one must in your allowance outweigh a whole theatre of others.
I hope you've reformed this indifferently with us, sir.
I'll reform it altogether, and let those play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them, for there be of them that will themselves laugh, set on some quantity of bound spectators to laugh too, though in the meantime some necessary question of complaint to them to be considered. Now that's villainous. It shows the most pitiful ambition the fool uses it. Go, make you ready. How now, my lord?
My lord, the Queen will speak with you presently.
Will the king hear this piece of work?
No, no.
Did it like my case? Will you two help Denison?
We shall not, my lord.
Oh, what's up, Horatio?
Hear me, sweet lord, your pulse ever clever?
Horatio, though I even as just a man, as my conversation coach with all.
Oh, my good lord.
Nay, do not think I'm glad as I stand here. Since my dear soul is mistress to her choice, and good men distinguish, her election has sealed thee away for herself. Give me that man does not passion slave, not wear him my heart, for I my heart of hearts, as I do thee. There's something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that actor foot, even in the very comment of thy soul, observe my mood. If his occulted guilt does not itself unkennel in one speech, then it is a damned ghost we have seen. My resolutions are as foul as Vulcan's smithy.
Well, my lord, if you escape detecting while the play is playing, I'll let you know of it.
There comes the play. I must be out. Get your place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent, in faith. Chameleon's dish, I eat the air, promise crowned.
I have no answer to this, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No? Nor mine, then. My lord, you played once at the university, you say?
I did, my lord, and I was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was murdered in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready?
I, my lord, may say upon your patience. Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me.
No, good mother, here's metal more attractive. Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean, my head upon your lap.
I, my lord.
Did you think I meant country answers?
I think nothing, my lord.
There's a fair thought like two maid's legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
I, my lord.
Why, God, you're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry for? Look you how cheerfully my mother looks. And my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
Oh, so long? Nay, then let the devil wear black for all a suit of sables. Heavens, to die 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. show it means mischief.
They like this show, but it puts the argument to the flesh.
Well, we shall know by this fellow. Players cannot keep counsel, they'll tell all.
For us and for our tragedy is stooping to your clemency. We beg your hearing patient.
Is this a brother proposing a ring?
Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
For 30 times has Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune salt washed and telescored ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen. About the world times 1230's been, but since love our hearts and hand our hands, unite commutal in most sacred bands.
So many journeys near the sun and moon make us again count over her lovely dome. Which woe is me, you are so sick of late.
Faith, I must leave thee, and shortly too. Thine operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt leave in this fair world behind, honoured, beloved, and happily one as kind, for husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest, such longest needs be treason in my breast. The second husband let me be accursed, none wed the second, but who killed the first? The second time I kill my husband dead, the second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine so oft we break. So think you now no second husband wed, but die those thoughts when first Lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light, sport and repose not from me day and night. Both here and hence be my lasting strife, if once a widow, ever I be wife.
She should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn, sweet. Leave me here a while, my spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile this tedious day with sleep.
Sleep not thy brain, and never let mischance between us twin.
And how like you this play?
The lady protests too much, she thinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
You heard the argument. Is it not offensive?
Oh, no, we do but jest. Poison in jest, no offence to the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mouse Trap. The play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzaga is the Duke's name, his wife Baptista you shall see anon. It is an English piece of work, but what about? Your Majesty, we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the gallant jade wince, our withers are unknown. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love, there I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord. You are keen.
Come, murderer, pox leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands out, drugs fit and time agree, confederacies and else no creature seeing, though mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, and Hebrides band thrice blasted, thrice infected, natural magic and dying property, and life uncertain need.
He poisons him in the garden of his estate. His name's Gonzago, the story is extant, a rich and choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises!
What, frightened with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Give on play!
Give me light!
Lights! 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 Oh, good Horatio, I'll take those worth for £1,000. Did perceive very well, my lord. On the talk of the poisoning, I did indeed note him. Come some music, come reporters. For if the king like not the comedy, why then belike he likes it not. Heard come some music.
Vouchsafe a word with you, sir.
Oh, sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what of it?
in his retirement, marvellous distempered,
With drink, sir.
no with choler.
Your wisdom.
Oh, my lord, keep your disclosures to so frame and not so widely from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Renounce.
The queen, your mother, is in great affliction, has sent me to you.
You're welcome.
No, this courtesy is not of the right breed. Please give me a wholesome answer and do as your mother's commanded.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such an answer as I can make, you shall command. Or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore no more but for the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says, your behaviour struck her into admiration and amazement.
Oh, wonderful son. It was so astonished her mother.
She desires to speak with you in her closet, said Elizabeth.
We shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you did once love me.
So do I still by these pigs and stealers.
My good lord, what is your cause of distemper? Surely you do bar the door on your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when the king himself is the voice of your succession in Denmark?
Aye, but sir, well, grasp us. The problem is something must see. The reporters, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind of me, as if you would drive me into a twirl?
And my love is too bold, my love is too unmanly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play, once back?
I cannot, lord.
I pray you.
I cannot, my lord.
I do beseech you.
I know not of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. You have these bandages with your fingers and thumb, the breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, music stops.
I cannot utter any harmony. I not the skill.
Why then? How unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my misery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet can't you make it speak? Strud, do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, or even fret me, yet you cannot play upon me. God save you, sir.
My lord, the Queen will speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's in the shape of a camel?
Alas, and indeed it is like a camel.
Methinks it is like a weasel.
It is perhaps like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
I will come to my mother by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come, by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. It's now very witching time tonight, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now might I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. But soft, now to my mother. I will speak daggers to her, but use none.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a 20-minute interval.
Nor stands it safe for us to let this madness reign. Therefore, pray, your commission will forthwith dispatch to England shall along with you. Terms of our state may not endure hazards or dangers, I will go out of his lunacies.
We ourselves provide most holy and religious experiences that keep your body safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
You pray to the speedy voyage while we fight us upon this way. Now it's 2 feet footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, he goes to his mother's closet. There I will hide myself and listen to the process. Pray that she lays hold to him. Farewell, my lord. I will find you before you sleep and tell you what I know.
Thanks. Dear my lord. All my offences rank. It's not to heaven. Like a crime, elders curse upon us. Lord's murder. Pray, help me not. For inclination be as sharp as will my greater guilt defeats my greater intent, and to double business bound by standing pause when I first begin. What neglect. What its curse behind it. Thicker on itself in the brother's blood. Not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow. Who serves mercy but to confront this as offence, and wasn't a prayer that was twofold force to be forestalled, it ever come to fall or pardon. Lay down. Then I'll look up. My fault is past. Oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. I cannot be. For I still possess those effects which I did crown. My ambition. My queen. The only pardon. Maintain defence. The corrupted currents of the world. Defence is gilded, hand made shut by justice enough to see the wicked prize itself rise. The law. It is not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, where we ourselves compelled even to the teeth on the forehead of our faults to give in evidence. What then? Rests. Try repentance can. Can it not? But oh, what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black as death! Oh, limed soul struggling to be free, art more engaged. Help! Angels, make a say! Perhaps with the name half the street of skin. Soft sinews of the newborn. May I yet be well?
Praying. Now, I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. Thou couldst stand, a villain kills my father, and I, his sole son, to that same villain send to heaven. Oh, this is higher and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and cause of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged? To take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword. And know thou a more horrid pet. When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, gaming, swearing about some act that hath no relish of salvation in't, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and as black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
The words fly up. Thoughts remain alone. Words are thoughts. Go.
My lady, he will come straight. Pray you be down with him. Tell him these pranks have been too broad to bear, and that he had stood unshielded between much heat and him. I must cross myself near. Pray, lay hold to him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
Fear me not, I'll warrant thee.
matter?
Thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Hast thou forgot me?
No, by the rude, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay then, I'll set those two things.
Come, sit down, you shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me? Help!
What?
Help!
Help! Help!
How thou rat! Dead for a ducat, dead! Ah!
What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not, 'tis the king.
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Leave bringing you your hands, peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, makes marriage vows as false as dicer's oaths.
I mean, what act that rolls so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on his brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination and a form indeed, wherein all the gods did seem to set their seal, to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildew deer, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? You cannot on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor, huh? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would stoop from this to this? What devil was that thus hath cozened you and hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or what a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope? Oh, shame! Where is thy blush?
Speak to me no more. Thou turns mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grey spots as will not leave their teeth.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Speak to me no more, Hamlet. These words enter in mine ears like daggers.
A murderer and a villain, a slave, this not 20th part the tithe of your precedent, lord. A vice of kings, a cutpurse of the empire and the rule, that from the shelf the precious diadem stole, and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches. Save me, and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly gods. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of his dread command? Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit, in weakest body strongest words. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse, forth at your eyes, your spirit proudly peep? O gentle son,
cause and form conjoined, preaching to stones would make them palpable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true colour, tears perchance for blood.
Who do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
No, nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
Oh, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look where it goes, even now. Look how it steals away. My father, in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes even now, out of the portal.
Oh, Hamlet, this the very coinage of your brain, this bodily creation ecstasy is very cunning here.
Ecstasy. My pulse, as yours doth temperately keep time and makes us healthful music. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that matter in unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. Oh, it will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Thou hast left my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worst part of it and live the purer with the other half. Good night. Go not to mine uncle's bed, assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that will lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence. Once more, good night, and when thou art desirous to be blessed, and blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent, that heaven have seen it fit to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. One more word, good lady.
What should I do?
Not this, by no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers make you rabble all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. I must to England, you know that?
Well, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They will sweep me away and marshal me to knavery. But let that be, for it is the sport to have the engineer hoist his own petard, and it shall go hard. But I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in one line two crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I love the guts into the neighbourhood. Indeed, now this counsellor is most still, most secret, and most brave. He was in life a foolish, prating knave. Come on, sir. Draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
This size, profile heaves, you must translate it. 'Tis fit we understand.
Oh, my lord, what I have seen tonight,
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
mad as the sea and the wind when both contend which is the mightier, like some oar in his lawless fit, hearing something stir behind the arras, whips out his bravery and cries, "A rat! A rat!" And in his bravish apprehension, kills the unseen good old man.
did. So what's a good queen then? His liberty is full of threats to all. To you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, it's bloody deeply answered. Relate to us in his providence, you have kept short, restrained and out of horns this mad young man, but so much as our love we did not understand what was most fit, but like their own some foul disease to keep from divulging, did let feed even on the pit of life. Where's he gone?
To draw apart the body he had killed, over whose very madness, like some ore among the minerals of metal's base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, we would ship him hence. This vile deed we must with our full skill and majesty, both countenance and excuse. Oh, Guildenstern! Friends, well, we'll join you with some further aid. Hamlet in his madness, Polonius slain. From his mother's closet have we dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair. Bring the body into the chapel. I pray, haste in this. Gertrude. Call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet! Lord Hamlet!
What noise?
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compound it with dust, where to his kin.
Tell us where it is that we might take it thence to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
Taking me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye. One that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his favours. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them, like an ape in the corner of his jaw, first man to be last swallowed, and when he is kneading what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am glad of it, and they each sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must take us to the dead body and then go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Bring me to him. High box and all after.
I have sent to seek him to find the body. Dangerous to that this man now goes loose. The law must be put a strong law on him. His love for the distracted multitude who like not in their children blood their eyes, and when it is so, when the scourge is often wayward, never the offence. They all smooth and even as sudden sending away must see political pause. Since his steps were grown by, Ashford's applying to relieve or not at all. How now would have befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
Where is he?
Guarded without to know your pleasure.
Breaking before us.
We'll go to bring him, my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are eaten at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service, 2 dishes put to 1 table. That's an end.
Alas. Alas.
A man may fish of the worm that hath eat of a king, and catch of the fish that hath eat of that worm.
What do you mean by this?
Nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send hither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But if you do not find him within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs and into the lobby.
Go, seek him there.
You'll stay till you come.
Hamlet. Indeed, for my special safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done,
send thee hence with fiery quickness. For prepare thyself. The bark is ready, the wind at help and the associates attend. All is bent for England.
England?
I can't.
Good.
So is it. If thou knewest our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Who the father, Hamlet?
Oh, my mother. Father and mother is man and wife is one flesh, and so, my mother. But come, for England!
Fall to the foot. Between the ball. Away. England. My love thou holds the thought. Coldly set our sovereign process. Present, death, Hamlet. It's England. The hectic in my bloody race must cure me. If thou notice done, however, my thoughts, my joys will never done.
Greet this Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras demands the conveyance of a promised match over his kingdom.
I will, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, what powers are these?
They are of Norway, sir.
How purposed, sir, I pray you?
Against the heart of Poland.
Who commands them?
A nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or some frontier?
We go to gain a small patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To be 5 ducats. 5. I would not farm it.
Why then, Poland will never spend it.
Well, yes, it is already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats would not debate the question of this straw. I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
How all occasions to inform against me and spur my dull revenge. I do not know my act I did to say these things to do. Sith I know I have reason, cause, and strength, and means to do it. Examples as gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such great mass and charge, led by a delicate and a tender prince, whose spirit, with divine ambition puffed, makes mounds at the invisible event, risking what is mortal and unsure, for all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
I will not speak of her.
She is importunate, indeed distract. Her little need to be pitied.
What will she have?
She speaks much of her father. Say she hears there's tricks in the world and hems and beats her heart. Spurns endlessly at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it dappled the hearer's recollection.
'Twere good she was spoken with, for she may spew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, since true nature is, its choice seems prolonged to some greatness, so full of artless jealousy's guilt, spills itself inferior to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark? How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle hat and staff, and his sandal shoe.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you, mark. He is dead and gone. Lady, he is dead and gone. At his head a grass green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray you, mark. White his shroud of the mountain snow, loaded with sweet flowers, which what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Sit upon him, Father.
Pray you let us have no more words of this. But when they ask me what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning betide, and I made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose, and donned his clothes, and ducked the chamber door, let in a maid, that out a maid never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, la, without an oath, I'll make an end on it. By gifts and by Saint Charity, alack, and fie for shame. Young men will do it, if they come to it. By cock they are to blame. Quoth she before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. And would I have done by yonder sun, if thou hadst not come to my bed?
How long had she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient. But I cannot choose but weep, to think that they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother should own it. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Or the closer ratio, given a good watch, I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Gertrude. When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First, father slain. Next, your son gone, and he the most violent author of his own just remove. The people, thick, muddy and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers, for good Polonius' death, which we did but greenly in hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment, without which we are pictures or mere beasts. Last, and as containing as all these, brother is in secret come from France and wants to force us to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death. Where are my Switzers? Let them go forth.
Save yourself, my lord. The good Lurties in a rider's head are were there to your officers. The rabble call him lord. They cry, choose we, Lurty shall be king. Cats, hands, tongues, applaud it to the clouds. Lurty shall be king. Lurty's king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry. Oh, this is Count. You false Danish dogs.
The doors are broke.
Oh, vile king, give me my father!
Calmly, good Lurties.
The troubled blood that can't be proclaimed, me bastard!
Tell me, Lurties, why thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Gertrude, do not fear our person. The suspicion of Hedge King, that treason countless people was the word acts little of his will. Tell me, Lurties, why art thou thus incensed? Speak, man.
Where is my father?
He is dead.
But not by him.
Let him the man spill.
King dead. I'll not be juggled with! To hell allegiance vows to the blackest devil! Conscience and grace to the profoundest pit! I dare damnation! To this point I stand, let come what comes, only I'll be avenged most thoroughly for my father!
Who will say you?
My will, not all the world.
Lurties, if you wish to know the certainty of your father's death, it's written in your revenge that through stake you will take both friend and foe, winner and loser.
None but his enemies.
You will know them then.
To his good friends, wide I'll up my arms and repass them with my blood.
Now, you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and most sensible in grief for it shall level to your judgment pierce as dangerous to your eye. Let her come in.
No, this is it. dry up my brains. Tears 7 times told, burn out sense and virtue in my eye. Take pain. Cleanse is the sweeter feeling. Heavens, is possible a young mate twits as mortal as an old man's life. To the thing he loves.
They bore him birthdays on the bed. Hey, nanny. And in his grave framed merely a tear. Fare you well, my love.
That's how that is. This persuaded revenge, it could not move thus.
You must sing a down, and you call him a downer. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
Something's more than that.
There's rosemary. That's remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there are pansies. That's for thought. There's fennel for you, and columbine. And there's rue for you, and here's some for me. We may call it Her Grace of Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's Daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end, for bonny sweet Robin is all my joy.
What an affliction. Passion, hell itself. She turns to favor into prejudice.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. His beard was white as snow. All flaxen was his wool. He is gone. He is gone. And we cast away now. God have mercy on his soul.
Did you not see this? God.
Laertes, I must commune with your grief or you deny me right. Go but apart, make choice of whom your wisest friends you will. They shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, shall our kingdom give our crown, all that we can, ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, we content to lend your patience to us. We shall join the labour with your soul, to give it due content, where defence is, great acts for. Convert his guise to graces, so that my arrows, just like the timber for so loud, the wind will return to my bow again and not where I had aimed them.
And so have I, noble father, lost. Sister driven into desperate terms whose worth, if praises do go back again. Stood challenger on the mount of all age for her perfections. Her revenge will come.
Break not your sleep to that. Do not think we are making stuff so flattered. Know that we could let our beard be shocked with danger and think it past time. We shall surely hear more, and that I will teach you to imagine. And now what news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet. Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio, and he received them of him that bought them.
Then it is you shall hear them. Because I am mighty. You shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall recount the occasion of my son's most strange return. Hamlet, what should this mean? Are we best come back, or is this some abuse and no such thing.
You need a hand?
It's Hamlet's character, naked. And in the postscript here he says alone. You advise me.
I must say, of course, but let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart, and I shall live and tell him to his teeth. Thus diest thou.
If it be so, should it be so, otherwise. Would you be ruled by me?
So you'll not go roaming for peace?
To thine own peace. If Hamlet is returned, and is checking out his voyage, and means no more to undertake it, I shall work him to an exploit now right with my advice, under which he shall not choose but fall. Before his death, no one in the blame shall grieve, but even his mother shall uncharge practice and call it accident.
And I will be ruled. The rather that you may advise it so that I may be the organ.
There it is. Is your father dear to you, or are you the picture of sorrow faced without a heart?
I ask you this.
Hamlet has returned. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son in deeds, more than in words?
Cut his throat in the church.
No place indeed. Murder sanctuarized. Revenge should have no bounds. But good ladies, will you do this? Close within your chamber, Hamlet returns shall know you are come home. We'll put on those who will praise your excellency for your rapier, most especially. Bring you in fine together and a wager on your heads. He being remiss will not peruse the foils. So with ease or a little shuffling, you may choose the sword unbaited and in a pass of practice. Fighting for your
I will do it. And for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of the mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it. Where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare may save the thing from death. It is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point of this contagion, and if I may gall him slightly, it may be dead.
Let's further think on this. If this should fail, and lands our driftwood through our black performance, it's better not to say, therefore this practice should have a back or second, that may hold there, should this blast improve. Soft. Have it. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I shall have prepared a chalice with a nose, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escape your friend stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
On one doth trough and on another's heel. How swiftly they follow. Your sister's drowned, Lurties.
And? Where?
There is a willow that grows aslant a brook. There on the pendant bows her coronet weeds. Clambering to hang, an envious slither broke. When down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like. A while they bore her up. Each time she chanted snatches of old tunes as one incapable of her own distress. Till that her garments, heavy with drink, pulled her from a melodious lane to most death.
Thus, she is drowned.
Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou for a feeling. Therefore I forbid my tears. It is our trick. Nature hath custom holds. Nature, no speech of fire that fame would blaze, but with this folly doubts it.
Let's follow. What I had to do to carpentry is now fair. I guess we'll give it a start again.
In youth when I did love, me thought it was very sweet to contract the time for my behold, me thought there was nothing neat.
Is this fellow in the feeling of this business that it seems a brave name?
Custom hath made it properly business in him.
It is even so.
An age with its stealing steps has clawed me in its clutch and shipped me until the land as if I'd never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once. How the name jowls into the ground as if it were Cain's jaw when he did the first murder. Why might not this be the pate of a politician? One that would circumvent God, might it not?
Yes, might, my lord.
Now my lady worms, chapless, and knocked about Nazareth with a sexton's spade. This fine revolution, we have a trick to see it.
A pickaxe and a spade, for an a shrouding sheet, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another. Why might not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where his quickies now, his cases, his tenures and his tricks. Why does he now suffer this rude knave to knock him about the stocks with a dirty shovel and not tell him this action of battery? I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. A pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in't.
You lie out on it, sir, and yet it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill again it from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest his soul. She's dead.
How absolute the name is. We must speak by the card of equivocation or duels. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
I came to it that day the last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Do you not know that? Every fool knows that. It was the day young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent to England.
Aye. Why was he sent to England?
Because he was mad. It will not matter there, though. He will regain his wits, and if he doesn't, it do not matter.
Why?
Does not matter there, sir. As there, the men are as mad as he.
How long will a man lie with the earth ere he rot?
In faith, sir, if he's not rotten before he die, as we have many public causes nowadays that will scarce hold the laying in, he will last you 8 months, 9 months. A tanner will last you 9 months.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade, he keeps out water a long while, and water is the sole decayer of your wholesome dead body. Here, this skull here has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A wholesome mad fellow's. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. Poured a flagon of rainish on my head once. This, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
Yes.
Even so.
Let me see. Alas. Poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now, how abhorrent in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs? your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar. Not one now, to mock your own grinning, quite chapfallen. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Just I think Alexander looked at this fashion of the earth.
Even so.
And smelt so.
'Twas to consider too curiously to consider so. Here comes the king. Queen. Courtiers. Who is this they follow? Such maid rights. How true a while. And Mark.
Ceremony else?
That is the Laertes.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful, and that great command o'ersways the order. She should in ground unsanctified have lodged until the last trumpet.
Is there no more be done?
No more be done. That we should profane the service of the dead and sing a requiem as such to her as to peace-parted souls.
Here in the earth, from her fair and unpolluted flesh, the pilots spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, and ministering angels shall my sister be when thou liest towering.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweet sir, the sweet farewell. I hoped thou should have been my Hamlet's wife. I hoped thy bride bed decked, sweet maid, and not to have strewed thy grave.
Treble woe. Full 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. All of the earth whilst I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quickened dead, until this flat a mountain you have made. Your double belly on the sky's head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow would conjure the wandering stars and make them stand like wonder-wounded heroes? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Thou prayest not well. I prithee take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not sensitive and rash, yet I have something in me dangerous, which let thy witness fear. Hold off thy hand.
Put them asunder.
My lord, be quiet.
Hamlet, Hamlet!
Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
What son, what theme is this?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my son. What wilt thou do for her?
For the love of God, forbear him.
Swoon, show me what thou wilt do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself, drink up eyes or eat a crocodile, I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? I'll be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them hurl millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make ossa like a wart near in my own mouth. I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness. Unless the fit will work on him, and on his silence will sit drooping.
But sir, why do you use me thus? I loved you ever. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
Welcome, course, Horatio. Thank you for your patience in that last night's speech. The matter to the present push. Gertrude, put some watch over your soul.
possible. Here's the commission. You give the letter. But wilt thou hear me how I did proceed? I do beseech you. They must have been nettled round with villainies, ere I could make a prologue to my brains they have done play. I sat me down, devised a new commission. Was it fair? I once did hold as our statuses do a baseness to write fair, and laboured much how to lay down that learning. But, sir, now it did me goings service. Wilt thou hear the effect of what I wrote? I will. An earnest conjuration to the king. As England is his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, as peace should stick her wheaten down wear and stand a comma between their amities, and many such like as is a great charge, that, on the view and knowing of these contents without debatement further, more or less he should the bearers put to sudden death, not trying time allowed. But how was it sealed? Oh, why, even in that was heaven ordained. I had my father's signature in my purse, which was the very model of that Danish seal.
So, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern go to their deaths?
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not, thinks thee, stand now upon? He that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election of my hopes, thrown out his annual for my proper life, and with such cozenage, it's not a perfect conscience to quit him with this arm. But I am very sorry, but Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my thoughts I see the posture of his. I'll court his favours, but sure the bravery of his grief did throw me into a towering passion.
Peace! Who comes here? Your lordship is right. Welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know this old friend? Thy state is the more gracious. What is a vice to know him?
My sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use, 'tis the head.
I thank you, lordship, it is very hot.
Nay, believe me, it is very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
And yet, methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Seemingly, it is very sultry, I swear. I cannot tell how. But my lord, his majesty has bade me to signify to you that he has laid a great wager upon your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
No, my good lord, thank you for my ease in good faith. Sir, Helen is newly come to court. Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card, or calendar of gentry, or you shall find him in the continent of what part a gentleman will see.
The concertancy, sir? Why do we wrap the gentleman in our more raw breath?
Sir,
what imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
Of him, sir.
I know you're not ignorant.
I would if you did, yet, faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
I know you're not ignorant to what excellence Laertes is.
Oh, I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well worth to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon, but for the imputation laid on him by them. In his meat he is unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
That's true of his weapons, but well.
The king hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has imposed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, within assigned his hand as girdles and so. The 3 of these carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to their hilts, most delicate carriages, and of very liberal conceits.
What call you the carriages?
Well, the carriages, sir, are the hangers.
Why is this imposed, we should call it?
The king hath laid that in a dozen parts as between yourself and him, he should not exceed you 3 hits. Would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, sir, for the opposition of your person in trial.
I will walk in the hall. It is the breathing time of day with me. But the foes be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king holds his purpose. I will win for him if I can, and if not, it will suffer nothing but my shame and the old hits.
Shall I re-deliver you in, sir?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
Oh, I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours.
This lapwing runs away with the shell on its head.
He didn't comply with his goods before he sucked it.
My lord, you will lose this wager.
I do not think so. Since you went to France, I have been in continual practice. But
I shall win at the odds, but thou would not think how ills all's here about my heart.
Nay.
It is no matter.
Nay, my lord.
It is but foolery.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither. Say that you are not fit.
Not obey it. We defy ordering. There's special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be not now, it will be to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all.
My lord, here comes the king.
Come. Hamlet's come, take his hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong, but pardon it, as you are a gentleman. His presence knows, and that much needs of her, for I am punished with sore distraction. So what I have done, with might your honour, nature, and exception roughly await, I here proclaim, was madness. So in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purpose evil free me so far in your most generous thought that I have shot mine arrow over the house and hurt my brother.
And satisfy the nature. Do receive your offered love like love and will not wrong you.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Bring us the foils, come on.
Can't offer me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. Thy skill shall, like a star, in the darkest night stick fiery up indeed.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils. Because with Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well then. Your grace has played the ultimate weaker side.
I do not fear it. Since we have seen you both, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy, bring me another.
This likes me well, these foils are all a length.
Aye, my lord.
If Hamlet give the first or second hit or quit in answer to the third exchange, that all the battlements at ordnance fire know the king drinks to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup on union shall be thrown, richer than that which four successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. And let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpets to the cannoneer without, the cannons to the heavens to the earth. Come, begin. You the judges, better wear the eye.
Come, sir.
Come, my lords. What? No!
Judgment!
A hit. A very palpable hit.
Well, again!
Stay! Give me drink. Hamlet, here's to thy health. This pearl is thine. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first, set it by a while. Come. Another hit, what say you?
A hit, I
It's hot and stands of breath. Come hither, Hamlet. Take my napkin, rub thy brows.
Good, madam.
The queen carouses to thy fortune.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord, I pray thee, pardon me.
It's too late. It's the poison cup.
I dare not drink yet, madam, by and by. Come to the third, Laertes. You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence, so I fear you make a wanton of me.
say so. Come on.
Nothing either way.
How about you now?
Part them. They're incensed.
Nay. Come again.
Look to the Queen! They bleed on both sides, my lord. What say you? How is Laertes?
Why, he's a woodcut to mine own springe, Osric, and justly killed with mine own treachery.
How is the Queen?
She swoons. See them bleed.
Oh, let's drink. Oh, my sweet son. Drink. What is it?
Treachery! Oh, let the door be locked! Villainy, seek it out!
It is here, noble Hamlet. Whom thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life. Treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and unveteraned. Foul practice hath turned itself on me. Well, here I lie. Never to rise again. My mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king! The king is to blame!
The point in venom too. Then venom do thy work.
Oh, friends! I am but hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, thou damned thing, drink of this potion. Is thy union there? Follow my mother!
He's justly served. It is a poison tempered by itself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. My father's dead, not upon me. More pine upon me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen, you. Or you that look pale and tremble at this sight, that are but mute or audience to this act, had I but time, as death this fell sergeant is strict in his arrest. Oh, I could tell you, but let that be. I am dead, Horatio. Thou livest. Report my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an anti-grummer than a day. Here. Is yet some liquor left?
As thou art a man, give me the cup. By heaven, I'll have it! Oh, good Horatio. What a wounded name. A thing standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain, and to tell my story. The rest is silence.
Now cracks and noble hearts. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
The last time I stood here was to apologise for Ryan Jacobing and smacking into the wall. It's nice to see him not dying for real this time. I don't normally do this after Brindley show, so I just want to thank a few people because this has been a labour of love for me. It's been an ambition for years to direct Hamlet and to produce this play. And you've got to admit these are fabulous bunch of actors. I just want to thank the Brindley, they've been brilliant with us, and if the stewards can pass on my thanks with the way they helped us out with a tricky situation. I want to thank Ryan for giving us his youthful looks and and to thank the techies, Adam, particularly Jonathan up there, who's done a brilliant job. And all the music you heard was firstly written for this production by Sherry Jones, who's up there videoing for us. Thank you to you because it was difficult sending you away last time. Many of you were here on a Friday, and the fact that nobody asked for their money back and everybody trusted in us to look after our audience, which you always will. So I just wanted to say thank you one more time, the cast of Hamlet.